governors and their local government chairmen accountable, saying that he's doing his best, to generate revenue and is giving them their due. So we should move away from the center and, of course, decentralize our demand for good governance by asking our governors. If you look at how much governors are earning every month now, I've had conversation with loads of local government chairmen, and some of them will tell you that, listen, there's no reason why local government administration should not be impactful on the people, because with the autonomy, whether in effect or not, more monies are coming to the local government chairman now. So the question is what are they using these monies for? For the governors, I mean, there were states where the highest they ever received from federation account every month was maybe 2 billion. I know at some point Ekiti was getting about 4 billion, and their running cost, including payment of salaries and all of that, was almost 5 billion. So every month, the station was the states, I beg your pardon, was always running into debt. But we've, over the last few years, since the inception of this administration, it seems we've moved away from the talk of governors going to borrow monies. Now it looks like there's so much money for them to play around with that maybe they don't even know what to do with some of these monies, because it looks like every state governor, whether you have anything to sell or not, wants to build an airport now, whether local, whether cargo, whether international. Everybody just wants to go on an elephant project that oftentimes does not exactly give any significant economic value to the state, especially if it's a state that does not that is not really self-sufficient. And then and if there are also are states that shares proximity with you, if there's airports in Accra, why you having an airport in Ekiti? But hey, the president has said you guys need to leave me alone, go and ask your governors. But the issue of insecurity or security is something that will continue to knock on the door of Mr. President. Welcome to Midweek Politics, live on Miller 98.3 FM. Today is the 11th day of March 2026, and I want to specially welcome you to another 120 minutes of conversation around politics, hardcore politics. Like I would always say, investigative journalism on radio, because we dig deep, give you every opportunity to listen to the nitty-gritties of whatever story we choose to focus on the show. Every Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. Side Fuad and I would oftentimes also I would have guests that could join the conversation virtually. We need to interview people probably involved or impact the story we're picking. Anyhow, it's always a pleasure to have you join us. I would open the phone lines also on the turn of 2 p.m. For you to join the conversation. So it's not just we talking to you, would also allow you to talk back. Wow. There's a lot happening, locally, internationally. And I remember we were here last week, Wednesday, and then somebody called and I was saying, that whatever happens in the war between Iran and the US and Israel, Nigeria should not get involved, and that is none of our business. Do we even have NICOMSAT? Do we even have a presence in the space? The caller was saying a lot of things, and I said, listen, the missiles, whether ballistic or not, may not be dropping. The bombs may not be dropping in Nigeria, but there will be economic consequences of those war going on in the Gulf, in the Middle East, in the Gulf region, and we're feeling it right now. Yesterday I bought a liter of petrol at 1,275 naira, and I felt bad. First off, the fact that I need to buy fuel at that cost, and secondly, the fact that we have no business whatsoever, depending on one person. About 90% of the fuel that we consume in Nigeria today is being supplied by an individual, a private investor. And if you understand how business works, the interest of investors is the primary concern of a business owner. He doesn't care how you survive. We'd have to look at the international demand. As at 2 a.m. on Monday morning, yes, the price of crude went to $110 per barrel, and that is an outstanding windfall for Nigeria, being a member of OPEC, being an oil producing country, and the concerns are very huge. And so you wonder, why is there increase in cost of public transportation? Why is there fuel artificial scarcity? Most fuel stations are closed because everybody's trying to look at how the market forces will play in all of this. But you think because the bombs or the missiles are not dropping in Nigeria, because it's Bahrain, is Qatar, is Oman, is Kuwait, is Saudi Arabia, is Iran, is Israel, because we are a nation that will depend so much on other nations. We are not such a huge producing nation. We import literally everything that keeps us going. So whatever happens in the international community affects us negatively, because we're also a nation that depends so much on grants from the foreign nations, foreign organizations. So whatever happens in the politics of that space affects us as a country. And because we're a third world country, developing nation, it also means that for every time there's any distortion in the global order, it affects us here. Another reason is because we as a country have made ourselves so, how do I put it now, we made it look like we cannot sustain ourselves. We cannot survive without depending on other people. And because we've also not diversified the economy, we rely almost solely on petrol. So whatever happens in the international space, in the global market, it affects us. If it is positive, we benefit. If it is negative, we also benefit. But the other side of all of this is this: for a member of OPEC, at some point the sixth largest oil producing nation in the world, the largest black democracy in the world, the largest population on the continent of Africa, we don't have our own refinery as a state. We don't even have a national air carrier as a country. So whenever there's any distortion in that global order, there's a problem. Whether Donald Trump is issuing warning on the Straits of Hormuz, I'm sure a lot of us now know that there's a Strait of Hormuz somewhere, or maybe a lot of us don't know how significant Iran is in this whole scheme of things. Iran at the moment have about 129 billion barrels of crude in their reserve, and that's almost 17% of the total global reserve. So Iran can decide that, listen, we're going to set mines on the Straits of Hormuz. Nobody is going to come to that place. The president of France told the leader of Iran that, listen, the coast of the Straits of Hormuz would have to be open and accessible. And the leaders of Iran told him that, come and open it. Because the US government released a statement yesterday that they've destroyed about 16 mines laying ships on that particular axis. And so, if in case we don't know, the Straits of Hormuz controls about 25% of the movement of crude globally. So Iran is attacking or fighting from a place they assume is a place of advantage for a country that has about 129 billion barrels of crude in their reserve. So it means that countries like Nigeria will have to constantly, open their ears and be wise enough to save when the wind falls. And it looks like the wind is falling at the moment. It looks like what necessitated the EC, that's the SS crude account under the administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo, is also coming up now. Yes, 209 billion barrels of crude. That's about 12% of the global storage. So why are we buying petrol at 1,300 naira per liter? Because there's a bigger demand in the global market, and your sole supplier would rather sell to countries or companies that are ready to buy higher price than wait for your emotions and your sentiments, because businesses don't run that way. Investors are monitoring that, okay, my investment should give me more now that the crude is going up. The demand for petrol crude is also going up. That means if I've invested in this business, I don't really care if Nigerians are buying it for 2,000, as long as my own investment is giving me money. That is business. It's not emotions. And so, I was just reading through some of the things that the government can put in place. And I think I quoted that conversation yesterday or day before yesterday on my show. So there was a tweet I saw on social media, and the handle is Mario Naija. The name is Wale Adedayo. And somebody asked the question, and he said, if you were the president, how would you handle the rising fuel price issue pragmatically? And then so this person responded, and he says, first off, you finalize a deal between NNPC and Dangote to keep the prices at 800 naira per liter for the next 2 weeks, while we're hoping that things would get sorted globally. That is temporary subsidy. That's one of the things that Mario Naija, that's the Twitter handle, gave. Another one, he said, announce a work from home policy for civil servants, excluding providers of essential services until further notice. He also went on to say that roll on more CNG incentivized transportation system across the country. And it says declare a 25% discount on rail services for 2 weeks in the first instance. Because the reason or the idea of subsidy is that you need to use it to cushion an effect of a major issue. And that's what we're going through right now. People are trekking miles because they cannot afford cost of transportation. And you can't blame the drivers. Maybe there are 10 fuel stations and then 8 of them have closed. There's only 2 that is selling. And those ones are selling at 1,300 naira per liter. Because they'll tell you that, that is how much we're able to buy as well. I think for the people that feels that, whatever it is okay. What NNPC and the federal government, NNPC Limited and the federal government and the marketers and Dangote would have to come to a table and find a way to help Nigerians to stay alive. It is more than anything else the most important thing for the president to look into right now. Apart from the fact that the electricity situation had gone worse, it's so crazy right now. And you ask yourself, what is the Minister of Power doing? Perhaps he's more interested in his ambition to become the governor of Oyo State. So if that is more important to you, you should resign if you cannot handle the issue of power. Earlier this week, our megawatt dropped to less than 1,000. Then later, it went to about 2,939 megawatts for a country of over 200 million people. Then earlier today, I also saw it from one account that tweets about the national grid. And I think we've moved to 3,009 or so, less than 4,000. And some of the distribution companies are threatening to go on strike. So what exactly is the Minister of Power doing? What's the president also doing in all of this? So these are the questions that would continue to demand answers from our leaders, the people that swore to protect us in exchange for our vote. A social contract that all of us actually did our own part. Whether you voted for this person or you didn't vote for this person, the most important thing is that you are a Nigerian, and as long as you associate with this, country, a law-abiding citizen, a tax-paying citizen, then you have no reason not to demand for good governance from your people. So if the president is saying, go and ask your governors, go and ask your local government chairman, then we should also ask them these questions. But the principal responsibility of every government at every level is the protection of lives and properties of the people. And where are we in that regard? Side Fuad is here. It's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. And you look at Side Fuad and then you're wondering like, it's almost finished. Side Fuad is still looking good. But he's looking good because he knows how to manage his body. Good to have you join us on the show today, Side Fuad. Some of us are not fasting, but we're counting the days with you. Well, welcome.
There's this thing about the Ramadan period, the fasting period. Incidentally, for this year, you have Lent and Ramadan going on simultaneously, and there's no way you're going to miss the effect. It's just what it is. Bars are near empty, clubs are completely quiet. The hustle and bustle you see in most parts of Lagos, nightlife has gone quiet.
It's soft.
Yeah, so it means there's something very important about the period, whether you like it or not. I've had a number of my Muslim friends to, some of these questions about, is it that it's Muslims that really drive
the social
life of Lagos, But for example, the very busy roads of Lagos at night have all gone very quiet, but it's just what it is. And again, to the disruption in global oil prices, it's just what it is. Again, so when we tell people that there's nothing like that as good as peace, there are no alternatives to looking for peace. And the world is now like a web. In the past, people used to think, whatever happens in a place does not really concern me. But the reality of the way the world is structured now is that there's no country that can live in isolation, no matter how powerful you are. And when Trump started the whole American first thing, some of us said, what, America as a country is as strong as the number of its alliances that has been able to build.
True.
And that's why you can see that even in attacking Iran, he needed to get the support of his allies, apart from Israel. I needed to lose for example, he was having issues with Spain and the UK. Because at some point they have said, no, we can't allow you to use our air bases, our military base to attack. So it means that you cannot even fight the war alone. You still need alliances. You can position all your warships on water, but there are still strategic alliances that can help you. The NATO alliances, for example, is very important. And these were alliances that this government was going to dismantle. Trump had come in to begin to, because these are alliances that have been strategically built
over the years.
So you come in claiming you know more than every other leader of the US that ever existed. I was watching a documentary where I said that, look, there's a reason why in recent time no US president had ever attacked Iran. Not because Iran is more powerful than the US or stronger than all of the allied forces or the alliance that the US have been able to build in the Middle East, but what is happening is what they've always known that would happen. If they attack Iran, it was going to be a major disruption in the entire region. And Iran had not also minced words in telling the US, if you attack us,
we're going to spread it.
All your allies in the Middle East becomes a strategic target for us. They're going to feel it. Because what we'll do is that, look, if you have a military base in Kuwait, it becomes a legitimate target. Because at that point, that is a US territory. We might not be able to fire down into to Washington, US,
but we'll touch you.
You have people around, you have alliances, you have and look, all of the allies of the US are countries that thrive on peace. The UAE, for example, does not want wahala. They just want to enjoy their life, build Abu Dhabi, build Dubai, have the biggest airport,
the people to the zone.
Tourism. So they thrive on peace. Whatever alliances they have with the US is to say, okay, you know what,
strengthen that peace.
Is to even help to embolden and strengthen the peace. The same thing with countries like Qatar. Qatar was able to host the World Cup because, look, there's no threats. There's even Saudi Arabia. People don't know. So when I see people thinking it's about religion, look,
Saudi Arabia is hosting big events. They are hosting musical concerts.
I've told people, if because again there was this I think it was a GOP senator or a congressman that said, "Oh, Muslims are not fit for the US," and it was something that is something that is trending, and I'm like, despite what you think about Trump and his Christian evangelical whatever, anytime he becomes a president, one of the first few countries he went to was Saudi Arabia, and that's a Muslim country, that's an Islamic country. The second time he has visited Saudi Arabia, and they have this partnership, they have these businesses going, they have this strategic, all going together. So for people who think it's about religion, I just laugh. Or to think, it's about promoting a Christian agenda or what. The reality is that, look, there's a lot of geopolitics going on. There's a lot of issues of influence. There are also economic issues that are tied to this particular war. And people have always avoided having this kind of escalation. How would I put it now? For years there's been this threat of something is going to happen. Iran was going to attack Israel, this and that. And people have said that, look, Benjamin Netanyahu has always been looking for this for years. Just the same way you have extremists on the other side. People don't know that, look, even in Israel, there are peaceful Israelis who are looking for a real solution to this problem of the Middle East. I'm telling you, they are the ones who are pushing for the two-state solution and what have you. In fact, there are people who don't know that they are Arabs who are Israelis.
Of course.
Arabs who also identify as Israelis, who are politicians, who also exist in the Israeli parliament.
Of course.
In fact, there are people who don't know that the population of Christians in Iran may even be more than the Christians in Israel. In reality, that the population of Christians who identify as Iranians is most likely higher than people who identify as Christians in Israel. The same thing with Palestine and other places. So the reality is that, look, this was actually a needless war. Past presidents of the US who have applied diplomacy have always put Iran on the negotiation table, know what they are doing. The reality is that, look, Iran is not a paper tiger. It's not Venezuela. And we have been able to see that, look, this is in fact, I think the US president said it recently that, look, Iran is stronger than what they even assumed the country is in terms of what it has been able to put up. And we have been able to see how a country can cause a region to go down completely. I will speak for the first time in how many decades now, the busiest airport in the world has been shut down. Qatar airspace shut down. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, even as we speak, there are questions around Umrah and even the possibility of Hajj happening the way it used to happen.
Okay, let me hold your thought. As of 2025 November, there are an estimate of between 600,000 to over 1 million Christians living in Iran. Between 600,000 to 1 million Christians living in Iran.
Living
in Iran. And as at early 2026, this year, approximately 184,000 to 188,000 Christians live in Israel.
Look at the margin.
Over 1 million to less than 200,000. Over 1 million Christians live in Iran. Less than 200,000 Christians live in Israel. And then we're always praying to God of Israel.
You know, I don't want to even go into that. It's just to establish the fact that, look, this is not about religion really for people. And I think people need to even go into history, understand the genesis of this problem, understand the religious coloration to some of these issues, to understand that, look, this is just a fight for dominance. Look, go and read about the Zionist movement in Israel and their agenda. There's this agenda of a greater Israel. The greater Israel agenda is not about religion. It's about land and domination of the region. In fact, the greater Israel agenda even talks about the possibility of taking land even till to where you have the holy site in Mecca. That's the greater vision. They call it the greater vision of Israel. What you call the greater Israel vision. So, look, there are people in Palestine, in Iran, in parts of the Middle East who are looking for real peace, real solution to this problem. Qatar, for example, has always been at the center of negotiations, peace meetings. They've been trying to bring, because they have seen prosperity.
And they want it to continue.
And they know that, look, there can't be prosperity without peace.
Yes.
Countries like the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar,
and on the other side are thinking that if anything triggers everything.
So they have always been at the center of how do we bring people together. For example, there's this Abrahamic agreement, which is supposed to be going back to the fact that both Muslims and Christians, whether it is Palestine or Israel or whatever, or Jew, you are all from the same father. It is from Abraham. You call it Ibrahim. Can we have a situation where they coexist in that region with peacefully, without any issues? Know which place belongs to you. But the reality is that, look, on both sides of the divide, you have extremists who don't want peace. So, for people to think it's just a linear thing to say, oh, it's just one side that does not want peace. No, even there are people, they are Israeli, and that's why people are saying that Benjamin Netanyahu has a lot of issues back home. There are corruption cases waiting for him. But unfortunately, they can't open up those cases against him if the country is still at war. So the longer the war stays, the better for him. There are people who have said, "Oh, Trump has gone into this war because of the Epstein file." Again,
to silence, it has
distracted everybody. Everybody is talking about it. The Epstein file has gotten to a point where it was going to be a problem for him. But now with this war, he's gotten everybody distracted. This is what we are now talking about. Let's now come back home. The reality is that the government has to step in. Because, it was just like when Russia was going to attack Ukraine. They had thought 2 weeks maximum. In fact, the feeling then in Moscow was that by 2 weeks they would be in Kiev. They would have marched on the capital of Ukraine.
It's 4 years now.
4 years down the line, they are still on that war. No clear victory. No clear path to victory.
Devastating casualties from both sides.
It's because Russia manages information. People have talked about the numbers.
It's state-controlled media.
Yeah,
so we only know what comes out.
Comes in. People don't know the exact casualty on the part of Russia. The figures are outstanding. People have said millions of people have died, and that's why they are desperate to bring in people from Africa. You saw the stories of Nigerians who have been brought into soldiers illegally and all of those kinds. They are going everywhere, even in terms of weapon. Even the economy of Russia cannot continue to sustain that kind of war. That's why, they have Iran, for example, supplying them with drones and what have you. They also need help. Because, look, have you seen the figure? What is costing the US every day to sustain this war in the Middle East? About $1 billion. All those missiles you see that they are firing.
Do you know the cost of those things?
It's not easy for any country to sustain war for too long. What about the human costs? Now, about 7 soldiers have died.
About 190 have sustained different degrees of
serious injuries.
And then you know how many people have died in Iran?
If there's one thing Americans don't want to see again, is the return of body bags of American soldiers in foreign missions.
Unnecessary, actually.
Especially when that thing is not a direct threat to the US. If it's a direct threat to Israel, there are people who have said, why are we fighting Israel's war? For them. Yes, they are our allies, but has it gotten to the point where we have to continue to waste this amount of money? And look, there were clear campaign promises made by Trump. Oh, these people were going to go to war in Iraq because they can't negotiate. I'm going to stop all the wars. I'm going to return all our soldiers. We cannot be the police of the world.
He wanted to win the Nobel Prize for peace now.
But where is the in fact, people are even selling FIFA now.
The one you gave
to him, better go and collect it
now. Because even the World Cup itself is under threat.
It's under threat. How are we going to proceed with the World Cup in this atmosphere? So, and people have seen, there have been questions as to why did you attack Iran? We've had situations in the past where, these things have been done based on what you call wrong intelligence.
Assumptions.
Assumptions.
There's
Iraq happened. It was weapons of mass destruction. And in fact, that one went through the Congress because consistently you had the intelligence community in the US
to say truly,
saying that look, Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. It had become a threat and all of that. So because
the Congress sanctioned
because it was coming from the intelligence community in the US, Bush took it to the Congress and it was sanctioned that look, they can proceed on that war. And what happened after years of wasting money, losing people? Not a single weapon of mass destruction was brought out. In fact, years after, those leaders have now come out to say, oh, it was wrong intelligence. But would anybody pay? Did anybody face any sanction? When you see the International Criminal Court taking our leaders in Africa, I just laugh. You can only bully leaders of small countries. We've seen leaders who have gone into places, kill people en mass, commit on man.
And the Hague is quiet.
And nothing is done to them. Up till now, there's an arrest warrant on Benjamin Netanyahu. But it still goes around. Nothing can happen. Nothing probably would happen to
even
them.
on Putin.
On Putin, nothing is going to happen to them. But if it's one country, if it's one Rwanda or Guinea now, Zimbabwe, before you know, the person is in Hague answering questions and they are thrown in jail. So Iraq happened, people felt, and we saw what happened. Immediately they took away Saddam Hussein, ISIS took over. And up till now, the problem of ISIS is still being felt in different parts of the world. The ISWAP that we have in Borno is a creation of ISIS. Because immediately Saddam Hussein left, ISIS took over. We saw it. Because those leaders here is very dictatorial, strong dictatorial, more like autocracy. But somehow they are able to
put those boys in check. Because they know them.
So they are able to check them. They are very brutal. So those boys are not able to really fester. Because
the moment there was that vacuum, they filled it up.
ISIS took over. And when US got tired, he left Iraq to Iraqis to deal with.
To your tent, Iraq.
The same thing happened in Afghanistan. The Taliban has to go. You know, people who worked with them at some point when Israel got tired, when US got tired, they left Afghanistan.
Look at Libya.
The Taliban is back now.
Look at Libya.
Look at Libya.
The proliferation of small arms across the Sahel region that we are feeling in this country today.
When they took out
Gaddafi. Of Gaddafi's fall.
And that will even happen under Obama. So, and people are taught that, look, and that was one of the things Trump said, that, look, we should have learned from these things. We should have learned our lessons, that, look, regime change does not necessarily help with global peace or our strategic alliances. What it does is that it creates chaos in those regions and becomes a problem. There's also the oil part of the conversation, Okwemi, that, look, you remember that when they went into Iraq, there was this covert operation called Operation Iraqi Liberation, OIL. People said, look, it was after, they were actually after the oil of Iraq. The same thing is what they said about Libya too. That, look, all of those things was actually to control the oil. People are already saying that, look, this may also be about Iranian oil. So, but this oil conversation we are having, to what end? How many people do we have to kill? How many disruptions do we have to have?
To have control.
Just to have control of oil. We saw what happened in Venezuela. Trump is not even hiding it, Okwemi. He even tweeted or even posted a bit that is now what acting president of Venezuela.
Yes.
And today, as we speak, the US controls all oil transactions in Venezuela.
Who they sell to,
who they buy from, how much they sell. He even said it now that will make money and give the rest to Venezuela. So are we having another form of colonialism in the modern era?
Is that even a question, side forward?
No, because if you go here,
isn't that what is playing out?
When you said, oh, there was a rogue regime in Venezuela, we are saying this so that people will understand that, look, and that's why when people vilify and condemn Putin, I'm like, what has Putin done that the US have not done now?
Was,
if you want to be fair,
I mean, Putin is still not. He's not running change of government. He's not taking over any country. He's not arresting any president.
You know what somebody told me? He said, during the colonial days, did you even hear that Russia colonized any country? They've always been peaceful, doing their own thing,
just in their own.
And what Putin has been saying is that, look, you see, this is my area. Don't come.
Leave me out. You see, those of us that were Soviet Union before, leave us like that.
But don't have that influence at my back door.
Don't bring your NATO alliance to this place. I won't allow it.
Because you will not allow it. As we speak, the reason why you are going after Venezuela, Cuba is that you don't want any influence
with Russia.
That you don't want it. You've talked about Cuba, so the things you will not allow in your own area,
you want to impose it in my own area.
So people need to understand that, look, you know, and in terms of regime change, the US will always come up with excuses to go after leaders, change regimes, and what have you. But this one, I think, has become a very big mistake. As we speak, Trump does not have an exit plan. They've asked him severally, how do you want to end this? Is this about regime change? You've killed the leader. Another leader has emerged.
He's even saying that if he does not support the leader, it won't last.
So let us say they kill this one. What happens again?
Because there's a structure. I think you were telling me about the layers of the military control.
Even Trump in his recent said it that, look, there was the first structure, they took all of them out. The second one, they took them out.
The third structure, they keep pushing
and
it
that that there are levels.
Yes.
To their structure when it comes to governance.
The command structure is so
there.
Deep.
And so the confusion that they are thought will happen has not happened.
It has not. Because soldier go, soldier come.
Yes.
One was killed, this one is going on.
The funny thing is that the military arm is even independent of the government. They know what to do without the government. You understand what I'm saying now? The fighting arm of the Iranian government
is independent.
They know what to do.
They know how to strike, strategize.
So it's not about it's not even about the leader of the country. It's about they know what to do with or without
a leader.
They can just go ahead, and that's why, despite killing Khomeini, they've been fighting. They are still fighting. They've been launching. They are still launching.
Nothing stops.
And what they've done is to hit all allies of the US in the region. The only country they've not been able to hit directly is Turkey.
And for obvious reasons.
And because Turkey again is so strong because of the NATO alliance. In fact, people are now mocking countries like UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. Maybe you guys thought the US was going to protect you.
Look at.
Have you now seen that? Look, there's really no protection
anywhere.
Being their ally. The region is the region. On the Strait of Hormuz now, which is the contentious thing. The reality is that, look, it will be difficult for international shipping companies to move
on that coast
when they are not sure of their safety. Nobody is going to put ships worth millions of dollars on the waters when they are not sure somebody is going to attack
that
them.
there could be mines in the coastal
there could be
line.
mines, or somebody could throw in rockets and what have you. So the biggest shipping company in the world, I think, is Mets. There's this company called Mets. They've said it that, look,
we're not doing anything.
We can't go into that area.
That Strait of Hormuz is a no-go area.
Because again, your insurance companies will be telling you that you already know there's a warning, there's a problem, and then even the assurances of the US to say we escort ships away is not enough. Because apart from the mines, it could be rockets, it could be drones, it could be anything that will be fired. Whether you like it or not, it is their country. And the waterway is their own. They know it, they know what to do. You know, they even threaten that we are closing that strait. Come and open it.
I know the French president said they should open it. They told him to come and
open it now. And people have said that, look, for you, and if you look at the US now, the appetite for America to have boots on ground is not there. Nobody's going to support. Trump knows he should not even try it. They don't have boots on ground now. They already lost about 7 soldiers.
They're just living on the strength of their area superiority.
And with that, they've lost 7 soldiers. And you know, in America, 1 soldier is almost like equal to losing 100 on the other side. They don't joke with their own people. In fact, what they will tell you is that, look, we want to know why they have to die. And you must be able to rationalize it and make it make sense to us. And now that they've lost 7, people are asking questions that, look, why are these guys dying? In fact, you've seen that there's this thing trending that, look, Trump should send Barron to the war front, his son. If it's about sacrifice for the nation,
you should lead from the front.
Let you put your son to go and fight this war. Now, even in the US, things have gone up. Prices of gas have gone up. They are looking at tapping into their strategic reserve. And now people are saying, how do you want to end this war? What is the end game? The hope that people are going to rise up against the regime has not happened. Right, Okoyemi? That, after killing the leader, people will go into the streets. And you have said that, look, you want people to go and die. Because they are in a war situation now. If anybody goes into the street now,
casualty
they are going to gun you down. So you can't even protect the people who go into the streets. And you don't want to have boots on ground. They've looked at the idea of arming the Kurdish fighters. They've dropped that.
And it's a risk they can't take.
If they were going to do it, Trump had a conversation with Kurdish traditional leaders in the region. It was an option they had looked at to say, okay, can we give weapons to the Kurds? Because again, you know, in parts of, I think in northern Iran or southern part of Iran, you have the Kurds too, who have their own issues. You know, the Kurds are a group that seems to have a problem in the Middle East. In Syria, they have problems. In parts of Turkey, I think southern Turkey, they have issues. In Iran, they have issues. Iraq, they have issues. So it's a group that has always been there. They have a fighting force. A lot of times they fight because of money and all of that. So people have said
most time they are mercenaries too.
More like mercenaries. But you know, again, there's always this. They also have this quest for them to at least have a territory for themselves. But they are too scattered because they are everywhere. So people have told him, if you arm the Kurdish fighters and back them with area power, the problem is that, look, you are going to cause bigger crisis in the Middle East. Iran would descend into a civil war. More people would die. And that does not necessarily mean that there will be a regime change. You just have another Iraq. Another Libya. It was almost the same thing that happened in Libya. There was a regime change. It has become a gang state now. There's nobody controlling Libya as we speak. And if you rightly pointed out, the proliferation of weapons from the Sahel down to Nigeria
is from the fall of Gaddafi.
The fall of Gaddafi, because nobody controls anything. It's a free for all.
It's a free black channel.
Look at the impact we're having in Nigeria now because of this, and all over the world. So now, as an oil producing nation, people are calling on the president, Okoyemi, you need to step in. It is a big pain to buy at 1,250 per liter, Okoyemi.
I'm sure you saw my status.
To now add salt to the injury, light power supply has been crazy, has been completely dismal. And that's why you can see the trend on the Minister of Power. The Oloku Kubrimu of Nigeria. Is that because people are not feeling because
they said it's ambassador of I pass my neighbor.
Because somebody said if the minister of power too has a power bank,
what happened to us?
And the car is bad
everywhere.
So because this is a time where people there's the heat wave, so people have to find a way. There's no power supply, so they have to on their gen, and it's just crazy to buy at over 1,000 naira per liter just to on your gen. Knowing that if your 4 liters is about maybe 6,000 and you're just blowing it to sleep.
Let me tell you what happened to me on Sunday night. So I on the gen and I mistakenly slept off while the gen was on. I woke up around after 2 or 3.
You don't look at yourself.
And I was regretting that. Which kind of stupid sleep did I sleep?
Because you want to have it for a
I wanted to just say like by 12 I'll put it off so that I can use it to. And I woke up after 2.
Once,
and I said,
one fan that they see blow you.
And I said, my gen is still on after 2. I ran down to put it off.
And it's because you are looking at what you're burning money.
Yeah, exactly. Side forward.
So look at the cost of transportation. I was asking a number of us who said, look, that the bus guys are not even telling you to.
You should ask me now.
Nobody's. If you come in, you come. You don't come. That's your problem.
Nobody's begging anybody anything.
To. So, and again, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to understand that. Look, Nigerians are waiting on him to intervene. At least drop the pain and suffering in the land. I've seen the guy who is in charge of the CNG initiative who has gone to meet him.
He was just.
I want you to say it so that somebody can help us tell them. I'm sure that if they probe the CNG initiative now, the rot that they will see. The guy has gone there now. He posted it one Ahmed or something.
Yes, the former youth leader of the
APC.
Yes.
He has said
he went
CNG initiative with former youth leader of the APC. So he said he went there, he met with president.
Said they should release 100,000 kits.
Okay, I said it in the morning. Make it make sense to me. What does 100,000 CNG kits? How does it solve the problem we have as a short-term solution? 100,000 kits. If we are going to distribute this across all states, how many would each state get? How boy is it called Jeuni?
Steady Jeun.
They are still probe on the CNG initiative. How much is spent?
Yes.
How many conversions have they done? What has been the impact? So because fuel has gone to 1,000, the guy has run to meet the president to sell a dummy.
And the president has bought it.
They want to share 100,000 kits. Sure, you see the problem. How does 100,000 CNG kits solve the problem that we have?
People can be using gas.
Which gas? Where are the gas stations? And we've said that, look, nobody is saying we should not have a transition. Those are long-term things. It's not something.
We need quick fixes.
Quick fixes. It's not something you bring for a problem that is at hand.
Do you know how long it will take them to even assess the 100,000 kits before they start releasing and distributing and installing?
Even if they have it, number one is who are they going to give it to? Have they identified?
What's the process of the beneficiaries? How would you do it?
So when I saw the guy, I said, look, these guys are just here, making cheap money from the system because they know there's enough money available to government now. So they just come up with all manner of initiatives, all manner of idea. These are ideas that they themselves know does not solve any problem, but because they are going to make money from it. The guy should come and have a debate and tell me and I think this is even about the president. Look, the information we have now is that 92% of petrol
that we consume
is currently supplied by Dangote. Oh, beautiful. So it means that what the NDPRA has been telling us for a long time has been complete, lies. They've always said that Dangote cannot do it. He doesn't have the capacity. But now they've come to admit, because now marketers are not bringing in anything. No. So more of the product we see across the country now is from Dangote refinery. And Dangote has told us consistently, I can do it. Give me the needed backing.
I'll do
I can meet up with a domestic demands. I've got the capacity. This is a refinery at 650,000 barrels per day. I can even improve it to 750,000. And we've always questioned our daily consumption of oil.
Do we really use up to that?
They are still at 62 million.
During COVID, when there was restriction, there was no movement, there was nationwide lockdown. The report said we're still consuming 62 million liters per day. So I'm wondering, there's no movement. People are not going to work. Cars are not running. How are we still consuming 62? The same thing we are consuming when the economy was fully functional?
And they are still on that 62 million.
And we are still on that 62
as we speak. So again,
despite the CNG, despite the electronic vehicles, despite the
I always said it, the figures are to justify the need to continue to import. And paint a picture that Dangote cannot do it alone. Again, we've talked about the need to fix our other refineries so that we don't have a monopoly in Dangote. But let's have a competition at the local level. But as we speak, what is the quick fix? Dangote is now the major supplier, right, of petroleum products. Can we have a subsidy regime with him?
Temporary.
You know the problem with the old subsidy regime was that, look, we're subsidizing imported products,
and some of the imported were not even accounted for.
There was a lot of manipulation.
But now
our land producer, so you can monitor the daily supply, production and supply of Dangote refinery. Okay, you are giving us 50 million liters every day. Okay, we know
how much is the other market? 1,000. Sell for us at
800. 200.
Subsidize 200 per liter.
At least that's a transparent, fraudulent free arrangement that we can have temporarily.
We can see each other, ask each other, neighbor to neighbor.
And people say, how do we get the money? Oh, lovely. Crude is selling now at a premium. So the excess is not to go and keep the money now. Because people are dying, people are suffering. What you need to do now is, okay, whatever we make from the excess food,
give us temporary subsidy.
We've pegged our budget at $75.
And now, as at the early hours of Monday, side forward, it was $110 per barrel. That means we have about 30 naira per extra
that we sold.
$30
and as we speak, it has still not dropped to less than $85. So it means that we are making some extra money. Can we are talking about having a realistic way to cushion the effect. People have talked about supplying Dangote with crude. I said no, that might be problematic. We don't even have enough crude to give to him. We don't have enough.
But we still need to meet up with our daily demands globally
and all of those kind of things. So we can look at subsidizing the end product to say, you know what, wherever you get your crude from, whatever we sell to you,
don't worry,
or whatever you get from abroad, the crude, give us this product and peg it at this price.
Whatever it is on it would pay,
because we are not sure where this whole thing will end up. I mean,
you always know the start of a war, you don't know the ending,
because this is a war that does not look like anything that will end very soon.
Iraq is not backing. Iran is
not
backing down.
The CNG people,
stop first.
No, they can be doing whatever the nonsense they are doing. They can be wasting. The reality is that look, it's a long term thing. We have been on this CNG now for almost 4 years. What have they been able to remarkably achieve?
Nothing.
Let's ask ourselves. So we are not saying the boys should not chop. They should continue to chop on the sidelines, but they should not disturb us with their nonsense. They can continue their CNG. We know. You see, the funny thing is that Nigerians behave as if we are not in the same country, as if we are dummies or we don't know what's going on. We know that most of these initiatives are job for the boys. Put
money in the boys' pocket.
Let's just let the boys enjoy. So we know these things. So we are not saying they should not enjoy, but they should not add to our misery. Oh, because fuel has gone to 1,000 something now, you have gone to meet the president to say, hey, we want to distribute 100,000 kits. How does that solve our problem? Whereas and that's why we're saying the president needs to step up. Nigerians need help. When the old subsidies don't start, that was how they were sharing rice. We were complaining that you cannot remove subsidy and expect that palliative will be rice. How does rice substitute for fuel? Now the rice at the fuel now they've stopped the rice. You remember that when subsidy, the first thing it was rice,
flooding, rice, attack, rice, everything.
How rice, cost of fuel and rice?
How does it come in?
Tell me, rice and fuel. People are saying that, look, cost of fuel has gone up. The president said we should do CNG. Where are the CNG stations? Where are the kits? And people have said that, look, for you to convert, it's a long-term thing because the cost to put in, but it cannot be an immediate solution to the issue of rising cost of petroleum products. It does not just make any sense. And you know that, look, it's just that we don't work with figures in the country. Look at the cost of rent now all over the country. Rent. Let people come up and tell Nigerians how rents have gone crazy. Have skyrocketed beyond the reach of ordinary people. Look, in reality, from my own research, in the last 2 years, rents in the city of Lagos, for example, I don't know of other states, have gone up by more than 300%. The apartments that I used to rent for 1 million, you'll be earning 2.5 million naira. Okay,
that is total package.
And with total package, you are in trouble. The total package of pain and suffering. The agents will have their own wahala to eat. The landlords will tell you, oh, we go to the market. You see the way these have gone up. This is our own investment too.
House that they've built 10 years ago.
Look, they tell you, oh, that's your problem.
To 2 million. If you can, you get out.
A friend was still telling me that in Ilupeju here, he used to pay about 2 million naira. They've told him to pay 4.5, and the landlord has said, look, if you can't pay, you leave my house.
Because as you are leaving, someone else is coming in. And for you to go and get another one somewhere.
See, there's a migration, and people don't understand how this thing works. Okay, and I've told people, the reality is that, look, the people that used to rent houses in eyebrow areas, what you call the high-end areas, once they are priced out of those locations, they come to the next level.
Yes, now.
So they come to the middle class.
So the ones that can't keep up with the lucky lifestyle, they are coming
to Ogba. They are coming to Sᴜᴜᴜ.
Yes. And so for someone that is paying 7 million over there, 5 million will not be a problem. So for you here, it's a problem.
So what they will now do to you is that they push you to Abule Egba.
So you are also going there.
So you will now put the Abule Egba people to Sango.
Then from Sango
to Ifo put you to Abule. Because that's what happens. Because people are going to adjust to say, okay, well, if I can't afford Sᴜᴜᴜ again,
let me try Abule Egba Ijayi.
So meanwhile, you are leaving Sᴜᴜᴜ because the Ikoyi boys are coming to take your place.
Yes.
They are also leaving because they can't pay.
Yes.
So and the reality is that, look, the guys who are being pushed from Sᴜᴜᴜ, the guy probably works in VI. Mm-hmm. He's been pushed to Abule Egba. Mm-hmm. Cost of transport makes it triple jeopardy for him. Mm-hmm. If he has to fuel his car, even the stress, traffic, and then the cost of paying for rent. He probably will also have disruptions in the school fees of children. Cost. You see, we don't go after the figure, and that's why when I see people throwing inflation figures around, I just laugh. What are the metrics? Is it just that you're just conjuring something, or you are really working with the realities of the people? We know what we know, Okwemi. Go to the market, our women keeps complaining. In fact, what they do now is to set you up. If you are married now, they know what they are doing. The things that women will never send their husbands to buy.
They're not sending them.
They deliberately say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was sure when my wife told me about 2 or 3 days ago that I used to buy this thing in keg. Please help me look for Ororo and palm oil." I just and so when I looked at the price, I say, And so
that's what they want you to realize.
So you say, Shebi, you saw that you see that we have a lot of kegs in our compound. All those 20 liters. I used to buy it before without complaining. But I told you to buy 5 liters now. You are complaining. So what we used to buy 20 liters before is what we are now using to buy 5 liters of Ororo. She told me, you see that we have a lot of yellow kegs in the compound.
Go on.
Before I used to be he said it can't happen. And to make you know how bad things have gone. That's why I said just let me do 5 liters. And look, the cost of 5 liters is what we used what we used to
buy the 25 liters
before. And it's across board. Are you talking about egg? Talking about turkey? Talking about fish? Go to people selling frozen food and see how people are there just lost. They look at turkey, they can't afford. They look at chicken, is a problem.
They look at fish.
And they have to say one need jẹun. One mumu said they should be eating bole and fish.
And said they want to even bank momo.
So you see, this is the reality of the people. And when we talk about the reality of the people, it's not about palliative. It's not about expecting politicians to go into tokenism. I've seen politicians who have a food kiosk, they're adding it out to people. That's not what we're saying. The one that can help people generally and have immediate impact, is the price of fuel. And luckily, to the glory of God, we have Dangote that we can work with. If the initial subsidy arrangement was fraudulent, because again,
this one should be transparent. You're not importing
anything. So vessels cannot be diverted.
No. Whatever is leaving the gentry is going to specific
There can
locations.
be fake invoices. Abi, that the one that they didn't bring anything, they will come and collect money. With Dangote, we can have a very transparent, fraudulent free. The only one that might be a problem is that when they sell to border areas, all of this smuggling across the border.
Does it stay here or does it go out?
And those are minimal problems, really, risks to this one. And that's why what you now need to do is to get your security agencies to step up, control the borders. But that's not enough to not come up with an arrangement with Dangote to help Nigerians at this time. Look, you see, we are not used to complaining, and that's why people have said Nigerians are the happiest people in the world. In the US now, Trump is on the verge of going to a strategic reserve to quickly cushion the effects for America. Because again, the midterm elections are coming. He knows that there will be consequences. They're going to judge him by what is going on now. But in Nigeria, we've endured removal of subsidy for almost 4 years now. Our politicians know that as bad as it's bad, the suffering will not impact our elections because of how fraudulently our processes are done. But the election is not even my concern now. There's a reality that we cannot deny. Nigerians are suffering. And they need the president to step up to help them. And that's why we're saying that, look, at 1,200, if this stays, if this pricing stays for another 1 or 2 weeks, there will be serious crisis. You go to the bus stops now, people are just...
People are trekking.
The frustration is evident. You look at people's faces, you know. The people that used to even help people, they will say, you pay now. People used to help lift people for free. I'm one thing, if you go to your bus stop early in the morning, the corporate guys have become semi-Uber drivers. So when they are going to work, they carry people and collect money. To buy
fuel. When they are coming back, they'll do the same.
They've been doing that.
That weight is off that. Man, come on.
So there's no idea of I'll just drive alone, I'll cruise my, everybody they carry passenger now. So it's a time that I think the president should please do something. It's a temporary thing. I'm not going to argue about whether subsidy has to come or not. Whatever name, it can be called intervention. If subsidy is the problem,
call it intervention
or call it whatever name. The presidential fuel discount initiative.
Just make sure that it's available.
Because I think subsidy is the problem.
Roll it out.
Just roll it out. Let's at least. We're not even saying the price should go back to 500. I think Nigerians maybe like around 800.
We've adjusted to that 820, 850.
Can we just peg it at that level to your long? With one and Petron is already telling us that look, this instability, if it escalates beyond what we have now, we could be getting close to 152,000 naira per liter. For business owners, as I yesterday, I don't know what the price is today. Diesel eats 1,007 per liter. I was having a conversation with the MD and they said, look, it's a major concern. If we're going to buy diesel at 1,700 naira. Unfortunately, power supply has been terrible. Whether you're on band A or band B, whatever band you find yourself, you are just wasting your time. Nothing is happening. As we speak, after Adelabu's tenure of almost 4 years, or how many years now, the grid has not gone past 3,000 megawatts. We have not been able to push the grid past 3,000 megawatts. So let's just leave that aside. When the campaigns come, we ask the right questions on all of the promises.
But
for now, we want to survive.
Let's survive.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a passionate plea. We need to quickly do something. Luckily, to the advantage of Nigerians, at least we have one functional refinery that can help us until when things come back to normal.
Interesting. I have a couple of updates. Before we divert the conversation into something political, let's say domesticated. Romania is set to allow the United States to use the country's Black Sea air bases for their missions in Iran. The president, Sudan, said that the agreement would allow for the temporary deployment of troops and military equipment for refueling planes and defensive equipment. So that's another, ally for the United States right there. And also, a Thai flagged cargo ship had been attacked near the strategic Strait of Hormuz. The vessel Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴇᴜ was struck near its stern while sailing in waters close to Oman. According to officials, around 20 crew members were rescued after the attack, while 3 remain on board as authorities are trying to assess the level of damage. The incident was part of a broader wave of attack in the strait, where at least 3 vessels were reportedly targeted by unidentified projectiles. We talked about this, right? Iran has said, you see, this place is our own. We use anything we have to fight and run whatever it is that we want to run. Well, side forward, let's step aside a little bit from this whole global chaos and then face some of the issues that we have here. Well, the Minister of Defense, Chris Musa, has directed service chief to rejig the military operations in the northeast and the northwest. He has directed a service chief needs to visit the northwest and northeast to check the military operations. The directive came during a meeting earlier today, ended about 35 minutes ago at the Ministry of Defense, where Musa met with service chiefs to discuss security challenges in this affected zone. Well, according to the media advisor to the minister, he told reporters that the service chief are expected to report their findings after their visit to the security challenged geopolitical zones. Side forward, in the midst of all of these chaos and survival instincts and economic challenges, we are still battling insecurity. And so probably because a lot of people just want to put food in their mouth. They don't even know the devastating effect of what is going on in those regions. 18 out of the 19 states in the north are now controlled by the APC. And out of those 18 being controlled, about 11 of them are having serious security issues. And it's not just the abduction any longer, it's the killings and the attacks in the villages. The fact that some communities and local government in Borno State are now back under the control of the insurgent. Side forward, there is the banditry problem. There's also the Boko Haram problem. A lot of us have, because of how complicated the issues are, we've actually even put both together. Boko Haram are still fighting on the ideology. Bandits are just, merchants. They're just looking for money. And so it's a big problem. And the fact that the president is not even saying anything is the funniest part. You look at Donald Trump, for instance, he's addressing the press. He's not even waiting for State of the Nation address. He's tweeting by himself. He's making posts by himself. You look at world leaders taking responsibilities that falls on their table. But the spokesperson of the president is always addressing the people. The presidency is releasing a statement. The president is not going to address the nation. The people will not even see what the people are getting killed from Kwara to Kogi to Plateau, everywhere. Side forward. Is there ever going to be an end in sight for all of these issues? We've brought in Chris Musa that we felt was good enough as the chief of army staff. He's now the minister of defense. Baba is just visiting, getting his time with people and giving directive and, saying that very soon he will pick up his membership of the APC. There's so much politicization of the process. The national security advisor, it looks to me like, someone that is so interested and engrossed with getting media attention, talking, no strategies, nothing to make sure that Nigerians can sleep with their 2 eyes closed. People are getting kidnapped. Look at the case of the core member that was kidnapped. The family last week Friday wanted to organize his burial in his absence because they said they paid the 10 million that the bandit asked for, and then the bandit are asking for 3 more new motorcycles, and then they cut communication with them for 1 week. And this thing is open, is in the news, everybody is seeing it. These bandits are releasing videos of how they are torturing this guy, and it's a whole lot of problems side forward. Billions of taxpayers' monies are being released every month to do operation this one, operation that one. Why are we still on the same spot side forward? Just directives, no results.
Well, okay, it's difficult questions to answer if you understand how for years we've talked about the need to show some more commitment to solving this problem. Government after government from the Goodluck Jonathan era, Buhari came for 8 years, and now things are getting worse. And if you remember when Mehdi Hasan was taking up Daniel Daula, when it came to the issue of insecurity, you saw that it was about figures. That look, These were the figures when you were coming in. The figures now have shown that, look, you've not made anything better. In fact, it's gotten worse. And there's no way anybody will argue. Figures don't lie. Data don't lie. Yes, you might question sources, but we know what we know. Every day we report these things. Borno State now, almost on a daily basis, you have insurgents, trying to make incursion into different parts of Borno State. We are losing some of our top security officials. Soldiers are being killed in their numbers. We might have denials about numbers or arguments about numbers.
Recently, getting killed.
Sarabta talked about 40. They say no, it's not up to 40. But the fact is that soldiers are being killed. Communities are still being ransacked. Abductions are still happening. The sad part of what we have now is that, look, we've even lost count. There are people who have been abducted now that we're not even talking about again, because this is about
people are even negotiating the release of their loved one without the police or anybody.
Now to even get us more worried about our situation, Shegumi, I think, strategically went for that interview and blew everything up to say, look, you guys keep blaming me. You keep talking as if I'm the bandit leader. I'm just like an intermediary. And look, whatever I'm doing, I do it with the government. And when he said it was very clear. We played the soundbite this morning that, look, there's no bandit leader, there's no terrorist that the government does not know by name and location. And that, in fact, when I go out negotiating with them, I go with security operatives. The government send representatives with me. So I'm also trying to help. I'm not the problem. So if see, and also I keep seeing people want to deflect, you arrest Gumi. I'm like, I've spoken to Gumi, you've spoken to him. And every time he keeps telling us our reality, but we fail to accept it. Oh, it's not a Gumi matter. Gumi did not at any time, Okoyemi, come to Nigerians to say, vote for me. I know what to do to secure your lives and properties. Has he come to seek anybody's vote? He's just an ordinary Nigerian who somehow has connections with the government and the people
and the wrong guy.
Yes. And look, I've told people in life, there are always people like that. Israel and Hamas are sworn enemies. There are people who mediate amongst them. When they do prisoner swap, at least there are people
receive people.
So it happens all over the world. Iran was negotiating with the US before the war started. At least Oman was mediating. Qatar has always mediated. So Gumi being a mediator does not mean he's the problem. The people we should talk to, and the question you asked me should go to the president, because he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The security structure we have in the country today puts the responsibility at his table. I don't know if tomorrow we have state police or they can now begin to, but this centrally command security structure we have in the country means that, look, for every case of insecurity in the country,
it's on the table of the president.
It's on the table of the president. So when I see people deflecting now, the same people that whitewashed Goodluck Jonathan are the same people that will tell you, it's not the president's problem, you should go and ask the governor. When Jonathan was there, did you ask him were you asking the governor? You put everything, you heaped everything on him. So why are we suddenly deflecting now to say, oh, it's about the governor? The reality is that, look, we knew that the governors would not do the right thing, right? We knew that traditional rulers are also culpable. So when the president was saying, look, vote for me, I know what to do to secure you.
What were the things he knew that he said he used to come and campaign for us?
And so that is what we should now ask him, sir. You must have been aware of some things. There must have been a strategy in your head and your mind at that time. What was it?
Or as if that it has expired?
Is it that we don't know what to do again? What has happened?
But the strategies failed.
And if Gumi is saying you know these guys, yes, not only by name, you know their location,
you know how to reach them. Because according to that interview, it's sounding, or it looks like it's even the government that pinpoints the people they want Gumi to negotiate with at different times.
And as we speak, the government has not come out to deny it.
It's not.
To say, oh, no, it's not true.
It's difficult to deny Gumi's position because he's always speaking from the point of authority.
And he has enough evidence.
He will put it to the table.
He even said in negotiating with one of the terrorists, he even went with women.
Yes.
Who were government officials.
Yes.
And we've seen pictures, we've seen videos. In fact, some of these guys sometimes come out in the open.
They come to negotiate these deals.
They come out with their guns and weapons.
Openly.
So, the question of why we are in this mess in terms of insecurity, it's only one person that can answer it, Okoyemi. In fact, it is not for the NSA to answer. For me, it is not for the ministers of defense to answer. He decides their strategy. He has appointed people to do the job. What were the KPIs, for example, he gave to the NSA? Why is the NSA still retaining his job? Is the NSA meeting up to the standards that, or the targets that the president has given to him?
If this is meeting up to the targets,
that's why we have to ask the president that, okay, let us do a review of the entire security architecture. Let's start with the NSA. Since you have appointed him, what were the KPIs? What were the deliverables you gave to him? So, has he been able to meet your expectation? And so, if he says yes, we now check.
The killings have not stopped.
So why is he still retaining his job?
The numbers are even crazy now.
So we ask again. Egbetokun is gone. There were questions as to why Egbetokun was still keeping his job at that time as the IG of police. You remember when they went to Benue and the president told Egbetokun, stand up, IG. How many people have you arrested? He sounded lost.
Does not have an idea.
No idea. It's gone now. We have a new man in charge. So let's put that one aside. We'll wait to see what he's going to be able to do.
The Musa that they brought back as chief of
now, since I think he's become minister of defense now,
for months.
Minister of
Defense, yes.
Now for months now. I think it's going to be like 6 months that he's been there now.
Nothing has
anything changed? What has happened?
Nothing.
What successes have been recorded? So it is the president that can tell Nigerians. It's the only one that can answer this question. It's because people like the NSA, in answering the question, would like to rub the ego of the president, would like to deflect on the real issues. But the president can be, I think he should be open to Nigeria to tell us what the problem is. I had a strategy, but when I got the job as president, I now discovered that
that strategy,
I can't fight these people.
It could only work before the election.
Or I now discovered that these people are stronger than government. Because if Gumi is telling us, I repeat again, that the government does not just know them by name.
They know their location.
They know their location. And
they know when to talk to them.
Every negotiation is done with the knowledge of the government, and they know about. I don't go there alone. So for me, I would not even ask. It's not a Gumi question. It's not the
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu question.
The president who sought the mandate of Nigeria to provide security for them should answer these questions. Why do we still have this level of insecurity if we know them by name and we know their locations? Very simple question. We need the president to answer that question.
Okay. To God be the glory.
I know, is it a very difficult question to answer?
I mean, that's the question you should be answering.
We know them by name. We know their location. We negotiate with them. So why are we still in this mess? Why do we still have this level of insecurity? It's a very, very simple question, though. The US have come now at Mokoko. With this one that they are facing.
Hope they will not even
withdraw them. We have a bigger battle to fight.
We have a bigger issue to solve. Well, the Oyo State Governor, Governor Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴇᴜ, has said the members of the PDP are not worried about the party's shrinking number of governors, insisting that the current crisis within the party will be resolved very soon. And the governor spoke yesterday after an expanded meeting of the BOT, describing the ongoing defection from the party as a challenging period for PDP leaders and members of Nigeria's democracy. His remarks was made a day after the 31st governor of the All Progressive Congress, Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State, announced his resignation from the PDP, leaving the PDP with only Seyi Makinde of Oyo State and Bala Mohammed of Bauchi as the only two remaining surviving PDP governors. Despite the development, Makinde downplayed fears of further defection and expressed confidence that the party would overcome the challenges they are facing at the moment. He said it's a challenging period for us as a leader and members of the PDP. It is also a challenging period for Nigeria's democracy. Okay. And while that was going on, 3 senators from Adamawa State have decamped from the People's Democratic Party into the All Progressive Congress. So, the governor of Adamawa decamped last week. The 3 PDP senators that they have have decamped into the APC today. So the APC used to have 83 senators. Now with the 3 senators from Adamawa now, the APC have 86 senators out of 109. I just have to quickly put out to you. And of course, 3 House of Reps members from Gombe have also decamped from the PDP into the Labour Party, and the House of Representative member from Buari in Abuja had also decamped from the Labour Party into the All Progressive Congress. Side forward, the PDP controls 18 of the 19 northern states as at today, the All Progressive Congress. The All Progressive Congress have 31 out of 36 governors, including the FCT, as at today. An absolute control of both the green and the red chambers at the National Assembly under the control of the All Progressive Congress. Is there a need for an election? I'm asking like a newspaper stand commentator. Is there a need for an election?
Of course, there will be an election because, again, these are all political arrangements. Nigerians will still have a final say. These are all movements, arrangements by political leaders. At the end of the democracy is still about the will of the people, what the people want. And so the people have to still either ratify or go against the political arrangements we have at this time. So elections will still have to be held. We still have to conduct these elections to show whether the people have approved this political arrangement or they want something else. So this is just about our politicians doing their thing. I'm not surprised that more people are going to leave the PDP. Okoyemi. If you are a member of the PDP today,
would you stay?
And you are seeking an elective position in 2027, will you stay in that party? The reality is that, look, the party is not viable again for any elective position, not at least for 2027. We've seen these things in the past. We saw it in Zamfara, we saw it in Rivers State, and politicians paid a price by remaining a political party that was divided. So when the courts were going to give them the hammer,
it went deep.
It went so deep. So nobody's going to take that risk. You fight yourself to a standstill, you divide the party. You owed. That's
one of the things that affected Dauda Lawal.
So you have congresses, your old parallel primaries. The cost will wait for you. And so you imagine, I'll tell you that
and the time they will strike you,
it's always too late. So
go and ask Jagede in those
states. So I understand why somewhere like Dauda Lawal will say, you know what, I've got to leave. I'm looking for a second term. The 2 remaining governors are not second term governors. They've done their 2 terms. So it might be that they are not going for anything in 2027.
Maybe they don't even care about their successor.
The risk is not as much as somebody who is looking for a second term. They've done their own 2 terms. I'm sure that if they are also seeking second term, they would have left the party. Nobody would have told them to leave by now. So if Seyi Makinde is saying they are not worried, they're actually worried. They know.
What's next for PDP?
Honestly, I don't know, because and I think it is still Wike's call to make. The sad part of the conversation for PDP is that, look, it will be difficult for anybody to align these interests now. Let's put it very in simple terms. Don't let us make it too complex. Forget about what the politicians are saying, Wike, Makinde, and all that. What is Wike's interest today, politically speaking?
That's what I was going to ask you next.
As a member of
what
the
is
PDP.
in these for Wike?
Now, it's a very simple thing. Is a machinery working for the APC? It's a political machinery. In those days when we used to play ball, we'll go and borrow players. I just came to mind, you go and borrow players, we'll go there machineries. So Wike is a political machinery for the APC.
To what end?
Big. It's getting a lot, I'll tell you. For example, him retaining his position as Minister of the FCT is still part of the job. And as Minister of the FCT, you know how big it is for Wike. He operates more like a governor. He has his own budget.
Even more influential than a governor.
Than the governor.
Imagine driving FCT 001 in the city where the president and the seat of power is
doing the same thing. So you understand that the compensation is big. Today, if there's something Wike would not lose. That Wike does not want to lose. It is the control of the political structure of Rivers State. And being a very useful political machinery for the APC, he's been able to retain that power, that control of the political structure in Rivers State. The governor had already put in a very terrible place, if not for the fact that, look, he's aligned with the center and they were able to really, make things work for him again. So, for Wike, what is in need for him is clear. He's the minister of the FCC today, and his desire to continue to control the political machinery of Rivers State is dependent on how he's able to deliver on the task of ensuring that the PDP knows no peace. And he has not even needed his desire. Abi, he has said it that, look, I'm going to work for the president. In one of his recent interviews, he said when Makinde came to him, this same governor Makinde, okay, what are we going to do about the PDP? He told him, melembe. And if you read the body language and the statement carefully, what he was trying to say is that, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm doing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's job now. In fact, I think in the mind of Governor Wike, Minister Wike, the PDP should not present a candidate. In fact, I think what will make him happy is for the PDP to come out and say, oh, we have adopted
your candidate,
the APC candidate, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's what will make Wike happy. He has said that he's working for the president. Okay, let us say
that the PDP even want to present a candidate. Would it be without Wike's input?
No, I'm even saying that. Let us even say out of frustration, Seyi Makinde leaves the PDP. Bala Mohammed leaves the PDP. So everybody leaves the PDP and it's now left for Wike and his people.
What does he want to do?
So what do you think the PDP? What do you think Wike will do with the PDP as far as the presidential election is concerned?
They will turn the part of ABGA
to adopt President Bola Ahmed, and that's what Wike wants. So when he said he told Seyi Makinde melembe, that you know what?
Calm down, all this one.
And that was why when Makinde also said that, look, he has told the president that I will hold the PDP down for you. But he said no.
But they didn't agree to that.
I said no. Why would you hold the party? So this is a situation where Makinde has a different desire and interest. They were formerly part of the G5.
The other G's have become ambassadors now.
I don't know what has happened to Otom. He's the only one
who has just been quiet.
And maybe they will give him something too.
I'm sure.
So Makinde has a different. I look. When I
saw going to Spain, I said, how?
And Piazzu
to I will check it now to confirm. Those people should not be sent to countries where there are serious diplomatic engagement. They should be sending them to
people that run their states down practically.
Zero.
To the point where their people could not even vote for them to go to the
senator. Somebody that came out to say that they used to give 500 naira to women that just gave birth. That they asked him that he said he brought. I can't be naming the fast foods that they said they brought to the capital as a state governor. So
again,
he's now an ambassador.
No, they did a job and they have to be compensated. They did a G5 job and they have to be compensated. So I don't know the PDP, because going to the Supreme Court is not going to solve any problem. Okay, because as it stands, the appeal court has not even helped the PDP. They have told them to go back and do the right thing. The 14 states that you were not able to do proper state congress, go and do it before you can have a national convention. So what time do they have, okay, with the timetable we have now from INEC? If now that they are going to the Supreme Court, is the Supreme Court going to rule before primaries are conducted? What's the assurance? And let us say in the worst case scenario for them again, the Supreme Court now tells them that, you know what, leadership issue is an inter-party affair. Go back and resolve your issues. What would they now do? So, I don't know if the party will survive after, but for 2027, my feeling is that let's just remove PDP from the equation.
So, Iguanyi, former governor of Enugu State, is Nigeria's ambassador to Greece, and Piazzu is Nigeria's ambassador to Spain. Yes. I've just had to quickly put that there.
They just go there and be faffing.
People that were giving newly mothers that just give birth 500 and kids. I can't forget.
It's palliative.
I can't forget the sight of that. It was on national.
There was one of them that was sharing kerosene. One of them,
Iɣzikpeazu.
One of them was sharing kerosene.
When they asked him, they say, and I think it was on national TV, it was Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴇᴜ that was asking. You could see the expression of shock on the face of Mɪᴑ-Wᴇᴜ.
That he gives 500 to newly delivered women.
And Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴜ was like, For what?
500 naira.
He says you should go and ask them. They will tell you how important 500 naira is. Someone that just gave birth. And that's the person that is now being ambassador.
Okay, what would they do? They would just go there and they just be there occupying
talking about
space.
diplomatic relationship.
To tell you that even the president knows that these guys are just
they are empty politically.
You can see that it's almost like the president is even reluctant to even deploy them, to post them. For him to have even delayed it to this point, and in reality, what are they going to be doing? This man is on Kilimanjaro now.
Reno.
Yeah, Kilimanjaro. Somebody told you, this guy, do you have a job? Because you are just a busy
Nigeria's ambassador to Mexico.
And before now, what has he been doing? He first certified as a pastor.
Yes.
What does he do for a living?
He spoke unofficial.
What can you say Reno or Mockery does for a living?
He's one of the face of the country now.
Face, is that a job?
Saifa, what do you mean by is that a job?
Before
a commissioner was rejected in Rivers on Monday.
He says he's a politician.
Because she said she's a politician, she doesn't have a job, so she had not filed for tax since 2018. And she was at some point acting local government chairperson. She was a commissioner in the Rivers State Civil Service Commission, and she said she had not filed tax since 2018 because she does not have a job. She's a politician. So why would you say Reno? Since Reno was the one that alleged that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a drug, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now he has been posted to Mexico. You should go and talk to the cartels. Maybe you can have more results to bring up. I'm talking about posting side forward. And sometimes one of the things I hate to say in life is I told you. Because it's always a vindication of negatives. Like I told you, this thing will go wrong.
It's not always good to get.
When we kept talking about the delay in the appointment of ambassadors, we knew there were going to be consequences. Election is coming in less than a year, and then you are posting ambassadors to new countries,
there are countries that have rejected
and they are getting rejected.
Because again, most of these countries understand that. International diplomacy is serious business.
It's not what if you post one today, it resumes in March, and then you lose election, and then another person will come in.
Because in receiving them, there's a lot that goes into.
There's a lot of process of documentation, profiling, checks, and everything. And yes.
So the standard rule is that look, at least minimum of 2 years.
2 years.
So, but if you're coming when it's just about a year for the government to go, because if they lose the election, what happens? The
way President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recalled all the ambassadors, a new president will do the same.
And so those countries think they will start all over again, trying to also understand what this person is bringing as a message. So it just shows that, look, we've left so many things too late. It appears we are not serious about these things, or they really don't matter. Again, look at even the UN deployment, the person going to the UN, Jimoh Ibrahim.
A serving senator.
And people are saying, sending somebody to the UN should be a career diplomat. It should be a career diplomat. We have, the funny thing about me, we have people, even if it's not a career diplomat, we have people in our universities who all their lives have written papers, have done researches, have done several academic work in the area of international diplomacy and international relations. You're going to put a Jimoh Ibrahim in the UN now, and it's going to be there. Anyways, do we even have a stake? Anyways,
because why I even think it's important. I think we ran that profile here side forward in respect to some of the key, ambassadorial missions that we need to appoint the right people to those places. Yeah. And then we talked about the seat in the UN, because first off, Africa does not have a seat on the United Nations Security Council
yet.
And we are pushing for that.
It, yeah.
And to lead that push should be one of the most affected countries in terms of security crisis, and someone that is intellectually
and the person representing
sound,
us should be somebody whose brain is working,
someone that can put issues on the table and justify.
It's not about English,
no. Even in the English.
Ryan speaks good English anyway.
Which okay. Barely days after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved the deployment of dozens of ambassadors to foreign missions, Nigeria's diplomatic push is already running into chaotic and turbulent water. India and several other countries are signaling reluctant to accept some of the envoys, and emerging diplomatic hurdle tied to the shrinking timeline of the current administration. According to the report, it says that many senior officials in the presidency and the foreign service reviewed that New Delhi, that's India had invoked a long-standing diplomatic practice, declining to receive ambassadors from government with less than 2 years remaining in office. So Nigerian ambassador to India, as of today, has not been accepted. That is the news.
And there are some other countries too.
And at the center of this standoff is diplomat Mahamudu Dahiru, whom Tinubu nominated as Nigeria's envoy to India. Sources familiar with the negotiation says that the government of Modi, that's the president of India, has begun sending subtle signals that it may not grant a mandatory diplomatic clearance known as agreement for Dahiru's posting. So they don't accept an ambassador for an administration that has less than 2 years in office. That is the diplomatic standard for India. Absolutely makes sense. So they're giving us that body language already. Some countries are also reluctant to accept some of the big countries that we're even expecting to jump at the offer of having a Nigerian diplomat on board. Those countries were not listed. The concern is that with just 1 year, what if he doesn't win the election? Any government would come and remove them. We also understand that some of these countries have this policy. Any ambassador from an administration that has less than a year or two in office will not be accepted. Side forward. In this era where, and you know, when the war between Ukraine and Russia started, and this administration came on board, we talked about the fact that the next couple of years, and when this old BRICS and this thing came up, we said, see, the way the geopolitics is going right now, there's nothing like I'm for nobody, I'm for everybody. Your alliances will be tested, your loyalty will be checked, especially for a country like Nigeria that we borrow money from everybody. China today, US tomorrow, IMF today. All of these things will be, standards to check where you stand. If America and Russia are fighting, and you borrow money from China and America, and they ask you, Oga, you're owing me money, where is your loyalty in this conversation? You cannot say you want to sit on the fence. That is why we need ambassadors. Now the ones we have appointed, almost 3 years into this administration, recall that the former ambassadors were recalled in October 2023. This is March 2026, almost 3 years after. Now the ones you have appointed, they are getting rejected in their place of designation.
I don't know. Again, for the president to have left it this late, what it means is that it's not top on his agenda. He probably does not think it's important for us to have them. I don't know, because even if you look at Redmond Mokri, the guy is still busy climbing Kilimanjaro. I don't know.
He was there when they announced that he's now.
So he's still climbing.
When he comes down,
he will go to Mexico.
He will go to Mexico.
So, anyways, I think it's just job for the boys. It's really a way to compensate people who had worked for the party. Not anything strategic, not anything important, because if it's that important, the president would have sorted this out a long time ago.
Before now.
And I will never forget what the Prime Minister of Canada said at the World Economic Forum, Mark Carney, when he said, if you are not on the negotiation table at this time as a country, you'll be part of the menu.
Yes.
That look, the old world order has gone and we should not mourn it.
The new boys are not chilling.
Now, we are in a period where people are quickly forming new alliances. Trade relationships. Our countries are re-strategizing. If you look at what Canada, for example, is doing, since their long time trading partner started trouble with them, which is the United States. They've been looking for new partners. Alliances. He has visited China. He has visited India. The
Indian Prime Minister had even visited Canada.
So he's looking for other markets. You know, it's been see, what they have said is that, for example, it's very comfortable working, very easy working and trading with the US. They are neighbors. So most of their produce goes to US. But now that they have somebody who's going to bully them.
I mean, yes, Donald Trump put economic sanctions on Canada.
So what they need to do is to roll up their sleeves, buckle their shoes, and work harder to look for new markets. They've talked, and what is, you know, the good thing that these countries are doing? You want your farm produce to come to China. Do you know what China told Canada? Let our own electric vehicles also come into your country.
Simple.
So you give us your farm produce, which is your own major international mainstay. Let us also give you
our own
EVs.
Yes.
And immediately Trump heard about the possibility of EVs going to Canada. He said, "Oh no," because he also knows that look, there are manufacturers of electric vehicles in the United States. They also want to sell. So people are using their strength to negotiate. They are forming new alliances. I told you about BRICS. Okoyemi. If you look at all of the countries in BRICS, continentally, Brazil, population, the highest in that region. Russia.
Landmass
and the highest population. In fact, Brazil too, landmass. Right? So Brazil, Russia, India.
Largest population.
And also the landmass. Right? China. Population, landmass.
South Africa.
But when it came to Africa,
they went to South Africa.
That does not have our landmass, that does not have our population. Why did they not come for Nigeria? In that new economic alliance. So we are now, you know that we are now partners. We are now more like, we are not like a major partner. We are now like just an appendage to whatever is happening at the highest level. And if you look at what McCartney said, he's talking about middle powers, that look, if the world powers, the world major powers are exerting their authority, bullying other countries, it's become might is right kind of thing. The middle powers must now become friends, must now form alliances to help themselves. He talked about Australia. He talked about other countries that are considered middle power. Today, where do we belong? We are not a superpower, of course. Can we categorize ourselves as a middle power nation? So where are we? Where are we going to? How do we intend to get to a point where, when any alliance is formed globally and they look at Africa, they think more about Nigeria, because again, we've got the resources, we've got the landmass, we've got the markets, we've got the population. Because all of these things are supposed to be things that count as strength.
Yes.
When it comes to international alliances, trade alliances at the global stage. But look, what do we even have to offer? We are talking about shooting for a $1 trillion economy with 3,000 megawatts. How? No, just tell me how. How are you going to achieve it? You are shooting for a $1 trillion economy, and you are still hovering around 3,000 megawatts. Your grid is still collapsing. I just looked at the video now. A building was bombed in Iran. A section of it, a high rise, a section of it destroyed. Do you know that from the video I'm looking on the screen,
other section of it, there's
still power supply in that same building? They just bombed the building though. So a part of it completely destroyed. But in about 2-3 floors in that same building, I'm still seeing that there's still power supply in this building. You look at Ukraine, despite all the bombing, there's still power supply. In most parts of Iran, power is still stable. In fact, that's why people are saying, they hope that you not get to a point where they attack their power structures. Here, we can't guarantee power supply. I just shared a video. I think it was Madam Mɪᴅ that sent it to me. The 1992 or 93 campaign of Abiola.
Okay. The video have been trending.
All the things Abiola listed in that campaign video.
I'm sure President Bola Ahmed will still use it to campaign
in 2027. No light. High cost of transportation, employment, no food, health, secure, everything listed in that video.
That was over 30 years ago.
In fact, do you know that if they edit the video, if they edit that video and they put APC, put the hope and everything, the video will still work now, because all of it is identified about how many years ago, 30 something years ago, we have still not been able to solve.
Side forward, let's take a listen to something real quick.
There's nothing to give into. The election was pronounced free, fair, and peaceful by the international observers and by the government-owned observers themselves. So, what is there to give into? As a matter of fact, they do not see any reason to prolong the democratic process anymore. And the SDP as a party is very clear. The executive committee made it very clear last week. The meeting in Benin.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. And I want to use this medium to talk to you. Please look at the youth of Nigeria. We are really suffering.
Politics plays its part in everything that defines us as a sovereign entity. Isn't it right to discuss what makes it tick? When the main actors converge in the power corridors to make decisions that affect the next meal, shouldn't we probe even deeper?
Nigeria is suffering. The suffering is too much.
When it comes to the complexities of politics, we strive to give it clarity, to deepen your understanding as the listener.
The decisive factor will be knowledgeable leadership committed to good governance.
Make it a date with 광ᴜᴇᴇ and Saeed Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. on your top dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. Politics, it's a whole meal.
Political enemies, they don't want you to succeed. Have you just realizing that? No matter what I do, they will still abuse me.
More and more. And last time they go, they die more and more.
Maybe that's why the president barely talks to the people. He said no matter what he does, they will still abuse him. So he doesn't listen to his political enemies. But the people that are voted into office also deserve your attention, Mr. President. Talk to the people. Make decisive, calls in respect to trying to help Nigerians to survive these measures. Times are tough. And then people having to buy fuel at 1.3, 1.4, and we don't even know how high it could go. It's not something that the president should fold his arms for. The people needs more. If all of the things that Saeed Fuad are brought on the table in terms of, getting into temporary subsidy is workable, absolutely workable. It shouldn't be that tough. Dangote is your person. Call him into the room. Guy, how far? How many liters are we, millions are we consuming every day? Okay, 40 million. How much is the global price now? 1,100. Maintain the price at 800. I will subsidize every liter for that 300 naira. I mean, if the oil windfall that we have right now, because I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering what oil windfall are we talking about. For every time the price of crude per barrel increases globally, Nigeria is also benefiting from that increment, because we have a global target that we're supposed to be contributing as our quota to OPEC. So we understand how the politics work. So we had the windfall, and then we opened the SS crude account under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. I hope we're doing the same right now. The people needs to survive. 09136000410. We've had a lengthy conversation on the show today, and I know a lot of you want to join us. So let's see how many of the calls we can pick before we leave the studio. Hello, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ope. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Yes, my name is Robert. I am calling you from Papa. Ope, September 2023, the president recalled over 100 ambassadors from their different locations. How many years now? It took him 3 years to appoint them back. You understand? And the same thing Buhari did. How many months, how many years before he appointed minister? I'm not surprised, because he said he will continue from where Buhari stopped. It's not a political statement. Let's forget about the political statement we always assume. And for those who are decamping, Mr. Fuad, it's like this thing should be a criminal offense. Imagine me now, I am courtesy for APC. I know that I will not win, and I go to PDP, and I won. In the middle of my tenure, I have not finished my tenure, and I switch over. It's supposed to be a criminal. If this country is working, it's supposed to be a criminal offense. I am telling you, not in the middle of your tenure. If you are this, you're supposed not to decamp. Serve that party that make you to get to power. You understand? That's how it's supposed to. Like what I see in this country is like all these people that are ruling us. They go to a meeting and say, as you are coming, let your regime be worse than the previous one. You understand? How do you explain that a country that is producing oil does not have one single refinery? Wham! As you speak now.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
They are telling us this what we do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We also pick your calls as we also pick your WhatsApp calls as well. Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome.
Where I've been laughing my head off. You say if they push you from Banana Land, you move to Oba will push them to
Abula will push you to somewhere.
That's why they eat. Enter my nose, enter my head. Thank you very much.
I mean that's the sad reality. Is the migration is pushing everybody down. For somebody that can afford 10 million rent in Lekki, he can definitely afford 6 million in Bagada. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello,
you're welcome.
This is Captain. I'm calling from Maboro.
Okay.
Yes. I want to hear a voice of Prince Wales. Prince Wales says your person is really of Nigeria. That yes, that I remember it now. For your shows here, he said that we found that nobody works since 1900. That people have done it. That your person say that the refinery cannot work again. I want you to call you now and tell us where the refinery is.
I can bet you that Prince Wise will respond to that challenge as quick as possible. Trust me. For me, Trump or no Trump, it must really. Apologies. We need to read messages. It must eventually happen. Iran has been planning for this war since 1979. Here in Nigeria, we're feeling it because of the poor. Let's hold on. Because of the poor leadership we have since 1999, no proper planning for the oil sector. Tinubu should carry CNG to center of universe where they are needed. Malam Salam has been vindicated about Chris Musa.
That's true.
No difference between him and the former minister. That's John Benadoui from Ijaniki. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Wow, it's been a while, Mr. Lakole.
Yes,
you're welcome.
These guys in talking, you guys have spoken eloquently and have dissected a lot today. But let me quickly talk on Iran, US, Israel war. Clearly, I know nobody can take over Iran because of the strategic way that the country is set up. It's got desert, it's got water, it's got mountains. Iraq tried this 20 years ago. For over 10 years, they were able to take maybe 15 or 20% of it. And in the long run, they had to use it. So that is just impossible. But what is possible is quickly, because as of today, 1.5 million riyal of Iran is worth less than $1 today. There are internal challenges between the IRGC and the real army, which is 3 times bigger than them. There's also issues with those who need where you have the major oil as against them. So it's a conflagration of a whole lot of problems. Is it right? Is it wrong? Well, you can't really tell in the world of geopolitics, because most times you find out that the powerful always want to do things that hegemonically really favors them ahead of everybody. And you can see basically that America, in whatever it does, presently continues to target China. And it understands that China is enjoying cheap oil from Venezuela and Iran. That has helped them do a lot of production at cheap prices which they continue to export. America continues to think that it is going to go back as one of the top in manufacturing. It must be able to keep the place where people like China eat from.
So Mr. Olakule, if it's about trade war, influence of China, at what cost? Should we begin to bomb people, kill people? Do you know how many people have died on this war?
Okay, so let's do this real quick. Prince Wise.
Yeah, good afternoon. The two wise men in the studio. I greet you all.
You're welcome, Prince Wise.
Mr. Fuda is not here. Why?
Well, he's not here today.
Thank you very much. Number one, this unnecessary war from America is what is causing the problem right now. But somebody just mentioned my name now that when they say the refinery is working, yes, we congratulate Nigeria then because we are patriotic Nigeria who want Nigeria to work. When Nigerian Labour Congress, they went to themselves going there that this is working. When it's working, what do we expect us to do? We have to be happy for Nigeria. But at a later date, we now know that this is not working. I will tell the federal government to put those NNPC people, take our money from them. Anybody who find culpable, you send them to prison. What do somebody expect somebody like me to say? I'm a pan Nigeria. We want Nigeria to work better.
Thank you very much, Prince Wise. Emmanuel is texting and he says, "Good afternoon, Okpeyemi. Tinubu has just completed a 3-year term and we're all busy using sledgehammer to kill the ants. Many people are saying Tinubu destroyed Nigeria. I guess Nigeria was better than China before Tinubu became president. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Jonathan from Agboro says, sometimes I'm just tired of listening to anything, whether radio, TV, or social media. I really don't understand the quantum of criticism against Mr. President. We're all simply being hypocritical. Okay. Can't we all see the great work Tinubu is doing, the gigantic infrastructure, reduction in food prices? How is a marked 40% reduction in fuel prices? His ambassadorial appointment are top notch. As a matter of fact, we are even going to mobilize for tenure extension after 2027. Tinubu is the best thing to happen to Nigeria. Jonathan from Magboro. Thank you very much, by the way. Good afternoon to you, Fᴜʟʟᴏᴡ. I greet you. Hopefully, at the time last week, I found myself in the emergency ward of the hospital after I was involved in a motor accident on Otedola, so I couldn't listen to you guys last week. Oh, sorry about that. Thank God we all survived the crash, though I'm still feeling the impact like when it happened. Mr. Ford, our gas just finished last night. I learned that it has gone up to around 1,004 per kg in my area. I'm still thinking of how would refill it. Okay. The cost of living is really killing the living at this point. Even the cost of losing a loved one at this time is high because you would have to organize the burial. It is not a good time to be sick when the money is not there. I beg Mr. Forward, which one is better? How are the unemployed surviving in this period? Jonathan, James Ogbona from Oshodi. That's a very serious and concerning question. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Payme, and my greetings to Mr. Forward.
You're welcome.
Briefly, I just want to also comment on the area where Forward was analyzing about the situation of things, where someone from Lekki will come down to, Ogba. So when I look at the situation and they say, and at the end of the day, the one from Lekki that came down to Ogba, when you analyze maybe like transport and other expenses that had to be carried out, they had to wrestle with in order to complete, especially where the location of the work is. You find out that the problem will still be being hard on the person. Then I see which way to survive. In fact, what is good in fact, because it's not all about coming down where the price is. It's all about for you from that place go to your working place again. You find out what you
are not even solving any problem.
We have so many messages, but we just have to go today. I think we can actually take a few from our Facebook page. Good afternoon. When they appointed Chris Musa as Minister of Defense, people thought Boko Haram would be decimated soon, but 6 months down the line, nothing significant has been recorded. Adedayo, Samson, Adewumi, John Bernard. Okay, I already took your message. James Ogbona says, I agree. Okay, I took that one already as well. We need visionary and honest leaders in Nigeria. That is your message. Patrick Obi also said, it is surprising to anyone in Nigeria today that APC government never had any plan to govern. Then they spent the entire first time executing Peter Obi as the capital project for Nigerians. They are getting Nigerian resources to waste for a second term project. Maybe execute El-Rufai also. Okay. Oloyede Philemon Oye Superstar says we need visionary and honest leaders. Rise because they know every Nigerian man is hungry. Odofin Oladimeji. Okay. The truth is this: it has nothing to do with religion, but the number of Christians is small, but they have more rights than those in Iran. I guess you are responding to the stats that I gave. Side forward, we've done what we should do today. I continue to speak truth to power in the best of our abilities. Thank you very much for
we're all in these boats together. What can we do?
So I made some series of tweets a couple of days back, and the person was like, "Oh, you're a journalist. Why are you talking like this?" And I said, "There's no fuel station where fuel is sold cheaper for journalists, or neither there's a store where you present your ID card as a journalist. They sell you a bag of rice for 10,000. So we're all in this boat together. So when the mics are off, we go into clear advocacy, and that's what we deal with. Thank you. Next up is Mainland FM. Your social conversation on radio, The Buzz. It's a Wednesday edition. Beautiful BB, and of course the good guy with the bad intentions, J Dan, joins in now till 4 p.m. and Sage Babalola will drive the conversation in the Situation Room. By 5:30, there will be the Mainland FM Global News, and by 6, the midweek edition of Sports Cruise. I would come back alongside my co-host and my other guys to drive the conversation. The UEFA Champions League returned yesterday night. We give you so much more and a lot more today as well. And of course, by 8 p.m., there is going to be shenanigans. I'm sure a lot of you guys are looking forward to that conversation. The girls would come and have amazing time on radio. Stay safe and keep your dad locked on Mainland 98.3 FM. Thank you very much, Said, for once again. I take a bow, and this program returns next week Wednesday, same time, same station, 1 p.m. on your Mainland 98.3 FM.